This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange Store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Bob's Pizza in Meridian. Hope you guys are doing well. You can see there, got Spencer Danielson and the team walking in. I'm Nathan Carroll, hosting today. Alongside me is Markel Reed. Markel, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. First and foremost, thank you for having me on the show. Super excited to be here. Yeah, and I'm excited for today and what today has to bring.
Yeah, big time game today as Boise State takes on Notre Dame for the first time in program history. See Cage Casey walking in there, getting ready. It's a big-time game for the Broncos, who are coming into this biggest underdogs that they've ever been in a game, at least stretching back to 2001, currently sitting at about 21-point underdogs. So it's a big one. Boise State playing the role of Cinderella once again, going to be trying to pull off the upset and taking down one of college football's royalty. It's there's been some big wins for the Broncos throughout their history. You think about wins over Oregon, wins over Oregon State, and Arizona, and TCU, but they haven't had a lot of shots at those blue bloods, those kind of OG programs who have won national championships, like Oklahoma, obviously in 2007. Now got a shot at Notre Dame. Like I said, my name is Nathan Carroll. We're filling in for BJ here. We're working things on the fly a little bit. I know that there were some technical difficulties there in Indiana with the internet, so we're pivoting, doing things a little bit different. So hopefully that works out for you guys. Let us know where you guys are watching from. Are you going to be watching at Uncle Bob's with us? Are you going to be down on the blue? Are you going to be there in the stadium? I know we had John Buchanan there. Father of Javen Buchanan, Boise State basketball player, who said that he's watching from Indiana and that his son Javen will be there. I think later on we'll have interviews with Leon and Javen talking about the game and getting to enjoy a little bit of that experience. But we'll start here, Uncle Bob's Pizza, and start with Markel. Markel, so you're Boise State alumni, played cornerback for the Broncos for 5 years, 6 years?
6 years.
6 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the Fiesta Bowl team last year, and now get to enjoy the experience as a fan. How's that transition been for you now, going from last year playing in the Fiesta Bowl to now watching your brothers, your friends, your coaches go up against Notre Dame?
Well, man, it's been super exciting for me to transition over to being a fan, man. Looking forward to watching my former teammates, those guys, man, sharing the locker room with them last year. I love those boys, man, to this day. I'm excited to watch them today, and it's been truly exciting watching them this season, watching them bounce back from a loss in game one and come together in the locker room, come back and put up points, play together, be dominant and put up points and make big stops on defense and being dominating. So it's been the transition's been really, really, really good. And like I said, I'm super excited for today. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a buzzsaw. Guys are going to have to come and play physical, bring the fight to them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen today.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we jump too deep into the matchup and breaking down, what we like out of the Broncos, what we like and what we see out of Notre Dame. Special thanks to Uncle Bob's for hosting us. They do such a tremendous job. If you're looking for a place to watch some of these road games, come on down to Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian off of McMillan. We've got a baseball team in here this morning celebrating a victory, getting their pizza in, getting their grub on. We had Kanan in the back there talking about, I miss those days, miss going to get the pizza after the baseball game. So they're back there. They're hyped. I think they might be sticking around for the Boise State game. But for you guys in the ICCU chat, let us know where you're at. Let us know where you're watching from. So looks like Randy's coming in from Oklahoma. We've got John coming in from Lafayette, who's saying see y'all in Maui. Man, I would love to be down for the Maui Invitational, but I don't think BJ's letting me to cover that game. I think he'll take that one and maybe send me to Logan, Utah.
Okay.
So, Maui, Logan, more or less the same. But big game, obviously, against Notre Dame. A lot of history here. Markel, I wanted to lean a little bit on some of your experience in big-time games at big-time stadiums. Your very first game as a Bronco was at Florida State. In Tallahassee. And I know it wasn't a fully packed stadium because of some of the circumstances with the hurricane that year. But, whether it was Oregon, whether it was Florida State, and you got to play at some big-time stadiums.
Yeah.
Is there a different atmosphere? Is there a different energy when you go into those games? I know that you try to keep the approach the same, but on the player side of things, do you guys have a little bit of a different approach for these big games? What's your experience on these big-time road games?
Well, man, when you prepare for big games like this, man, there's always that level of energy that you're going into practice every single day and getting ready to prepare for a big game like this. And it's all about your preparation, how you watch film, how you're breaking that down. Is everybody in the film room together? How are you approaching practice? Are you coming out there very energetic? Are you bringing the energy? Who's going to make the first play in practice? And all those things stack on each other and ultimately lead to the game. And then there's that level of confidence whenever you approach a big game like this, especially in Florida State. What I remember is that was an intense practice week and camp and everything. The inferno, going out to Florida, the humidity, the rain. It's just different than being in Idaho. But we had the team. Hank Bachmar at the time led us to a comeback win. Had tremendous guys on that team: Curtis Weaver, Avery Williams, Keelan Butler, Khalil Shakir. We had tremendous guys all across the ball. Jalen Walker, another corner.
Benton Wickersham.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah, no doubt. But it was the preparation that goes into these big games is vital. It's key. The level of focus that you have to have. Those things ultimately are going to play out, because when you get into the game, things can get sticky. If things go wrong, you got to be able to stay together. You got to be able to, come together, stay calm, and play like a Bronco at the end of the day. And these big games are super exciting for a locker room. And you just expect to go play and dominate the way that you know that you can. So I'm excited for what the Broncos have today for Notre Dame. And like you said, back when we were playing Florida State, man, that was a big game for us. We go in, we were down, we go into the halftime show, and we knew that we could come back and win, and that's exactly what we did. So yeah, man, that's how that went.
So in regards to that Florida State game, I don't have the box score in front of me, but if I remember a little bit of a slow start in that game,
yeah,
I assume a lot of that's just the way things play out on the field. But when you go into a different atmosphere, big time atmosphere like this, is there a little bit of an adjustment period? Does it take, maybe a possession or two to kind of get your feet underneath you and settle in and be like, all right, it's just another football game? Or is that something that the second you get to the stadium, that mentality is already there? It's a football game and an opportunity, or is there a little bit of kind of a gathering your feet period?
Yeah, man. I think it can go both ways. It can lean both ways. The mindset is always to go in, start fast, make plays right away, and set the tone for the other team. Let them know that, hey, we're going to bring the fight to you. But there's also, in big games like this, being involved with bigger crowds, it's loud. The intensity is there, and that can throw you off, for a drive or two. But definitely settle in, because that is something that can definitely happen. So you want to make sure that the guys settle in, kind of refocus, and make sure that remember the game plan, remember the plan, and remember all the film study that you did prior to the game, the preparation. Lean on that preparation, because preparation leads to confidence. So, yeah, I think it goes both ways for sure.
Yeah, in the week of practice leading up to a big game like this, where it is a little bit of a higher level opponent, right? And that's something on the media side, we talk about it, 21-point underdogs. It's Notre Dame, top 10 team, national title contender.
Yeah.
But in the week of prep, is it approached any different? Is the way that the coaches communicated, say, hey, this is a next level team. They've got NFL guys everywhere. We have to be sharper. We have to be more on top of it. Or, again, I know that when the coaches talk to the media, they say it's game number 5. We treat them just like we treated Eastern Washington.
Yeah, definitely.
But behind the scenes, is there a little bit more urgency there?
There's definitely a little bit more urgency there. But like you said, what the coaches say, that's definitely what is preached in the locker room. It's another game. The preparation stays the same, but the level of intensity has to be there every single day throughout the week of practice. But yeah, games like this, it's exciting. You bring a side out of you that you didn't think that you had. But also in games like this, it's also about believing in yourself, believing in the team, believing in the coaches, believing in who's in that locker room. And if you're going against a bunch of NFL guys, so what? We're all playing college football. We're all at a Division 1 level, and you got to look at it like, hey, I'm an NFL guy too.
Right.
So that level of preparation, that level of confidence, that level of belief, all that matters in a game like this. So yeah, I mean, it starts with the guys believing in themselves and believing in their team and the coach's plan and how they plan to approach this game. So yeah.
Great insights, Markel Reed. For those of you just joining, former Boise State cornerback, played with the program the last 6 seasons, was on the Fiesta Bowl team last year. Continue to get there in the ICCU chat. Tell us where you're watching from. Let's start to get some score predictions in there. We'll talk a little bit more about the matchup and sort of where we stand. We'll give our thoughts there at the end of the show. Got a question here from Austin Jensen. Says, Markel, how can Benefield best impact the game today? Obviously, you played with Ty Benefield, tremendously talented player. I know you've got some notes, you've done some research. Where do you feel like Ty Benefield can impact this game today and be a difference maker for the Broncos?
Yeah, that's a great question. Ty Buck Benefield, he's a leader on that defense, leader in the back end. And he is a dominant football player, and he is going to start with communication, running the back end and going to the second level to the linebackers, communicating, make sure everybody's on the same page and getting the calls in fast. There's going to be calls that the coaches call in, and he's going to have to be able to operate fast. And I think him making a lot of tackles today, being a secure tackler today, would be vital for our defense for sure. And him coming out, setting the tone for the defense is going to spark that energy for us. I truly believe that. They have 2 good backs back there. Notre Dame does. They like to run the football. So Ty Buck Benefield is going to be a huge key player for us today on him fitting the run, being a playmaker as he is, and coming out fast and setting the tone.
And one thing I've noticed watching some of the Notre Dame tape, they like to run a lot of RPO stuff. CJ Carr, their redshirt freshman quarterback, is very comfortable in RPO stuff. How important is it for someone like Buck to sort of play into that RPO stuff that they want to run? And how challenging is that for a DB, especially a safety who, you've got to be able to, get your pass fit, right? You got to be able to cover your tight end or your slot, but at the same time, you need to be there for your run fit, and you have to essentially do both on the same play. How much of that is going to be a challenge for Ty Benefield in this defensive back group?
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate thing that he's going to have to focus on is eyes, and that's every DB, especially when you face an offense that likes RPOs. It's going to be eyes and fitting fast. Just got to make sure that we're dialed on that. It's challenging. RPOs are challenging. A lot of offenses run it. It's starting to get to the NFL a lot more. But being able to key in on your key on defense, whether it's a tight end, whether it's back, whoever it is, prior to that play, definitely got to have your eyes on the right key. And if you see run, go fit run. Be a fast, attack fast, and be that secure tackler for the defense.
And I know you talked a little bit about the running backs, right?
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price.
Yeah.
Probably the best running back duo in the country right now. I know Jeremiah Love coming into the year was considered the best back in the country, and Jadarian Price has come in and looked as good, if not better, than Jeremiah Love.
I've been keeping up for sure.
Yeah. What have you seen in that running back duo, and how tough is it going to be for the Broncos to stop them? And then, I mean, with your experience being in some of these games, maybe what's the mindset and what's the communication from the coaching staff to the team this week on how do we go about stopping these guys?
Well, I think Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, they're NFL running backs.
Yeah.
They're physical, they're downhill, and I think Notre Dame always finds a way to get them to the ball. I think Notre Dame leans on them to actually run the ball and win games and control the time of clock and everything. I think those 2 backs are tremendous, and I think what we need to do is, come in, be physical, that mindset of prior to the game being physical. That throughout the week of practice that these 2 backs are going to be vital to the game, stopping them. I think if we stop these 2 running backs, we got a great chance of winning this game for sure.
Yeah, especially with how they want to run the ball. They lean on that a little bit like Boise State. If you can slow them down and force them into some 3rd and longs, I think you set yourself up for Eric Chenander to get into some of his pressure packages, which he does so well, and that's where the defense can potentially make some plays. One thing I noted in particular about their running game is how committed they are to it and how it gets better as the game goes along. I think it was the Texas A&M game that in the middle of the 3rd quarter, Jeremiah Love had, and don't quote me on the exact numbers, there was something along the lines of like 13 carries for 35 yards, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, kind of shut down Jeremiah Love. And then I think he finished that game with 105 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because they commit to it. And that duo just wears down on defenses. And so I think it's going to be especially important for the Broncos defense, not just to stop the run early, but continue to stop the run. Don't get worn down.
Yeah.
Now, having been in some of these games, and you've played the role of both like a starter and a rotational player.
Yes.
How important is it for some of those rotational guys to be able to come in and give you good reps so that a guy like Benefield, who may not come out today, but maybe Marco Notriani or a Jaden Virgin Morgan can get some blow and come back in and feel, feel better, feel their best, and be able to continue to slow down the run game.
Yeah, it's all about being ready for your opportunity throughout the week of practice. Your focus to get game reps. If you're a 2 and you're in that rotational position, it's all about seeing yourself as a starter. It's just like the league, man. Being able to execute when you get your opportunity. If somebody needs a breath, needs a breather, especially those guys like Marco, JV, who are in the trenches, who are going at it 100% of the time throughout the game, they definitely need a breather. So that's the guys that are going to be rotating in for those guys and who are in a rotational position. It's all about being ready, being confident, being ready to make a play for the team and being all about the team,
Got a really good question here from Chris Washburn in the chat. It says, Markel, having played in Chin's system, what would you expect to see schematically today? Obviously, he runs a lot of quarters, but he says specifically, quarters. Are they going to run 3 match? Are they going to run a lot of pressure packages? Are we going to see that cover 0, cover 1? Obviously, you're not in the room this week, so you don't know exactly what the game plan is. But having been around these, Chinander and some of these big games, what do you see the mentality being on the schematic side of things?
Yeah, man, I gotta love Coach Chin's, man. He's a guy that's gonna send pressure. That's what I expect today. To disrupt the backfield. I see that being the plan today. Us filling up the box, us getting after the quarterback, getting after those running backs, and wearing them down by being physical. That's what I see from Coach Chin's. Coach Chin's is a gambler. Us as a defense, us being football players, we love that because, especially in the back end, because if we're sending heat, ball's going to come out.
Right.
Ball's coming out fast. Us being able to plant, be ready to break on the ball, and make a play on the ball. All those things is what I expect today, and those are the things that's exciting for a DB. You love being on the island. You love, being one-on-one with the receiver. So I do see a lot of pressure, man pressure. I do see our DBs having to make one-on-one plays today for sure.
And Boise State last season, one of the leaders in the entire country in cover 0 and cover 1 rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Eric Chinander wants to do. He wants to get pressure, wants to get after the quarterback. And a lot of that does start with stopping the run on first down, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you're not going to send those pressure packages if it's 3rd and 3, but if you can get 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, all of a sudden you can start to dial up some of that stuff that he does such a good job on. Let's talk a little bit about the DBs. Obviously, it's been even while you were here, it's always kind of the ire of the fan base. I think some of that just comes with the job, right?
Yeah.
When you lose, everyone sees it, right? When you're a defensive tackle, no one notices that he made the mistake. But no doubt about it, a rough start to the season for them.
Yeah.
But I thought last week against App State, the cornerback duo in particular, Jeremiah and Meridian, I think they played phenomenal games. What have you seen out of that DB core, or specifically, let's say, the corners so far this season? And what do you think they can bring to this game today against a Notre Dame team that's got some really talented wide receivers?
Yeah, I mean, I know we started off slow in the corner room, but I really love the response by the corners in the last few games. They were able to make some plays. It's all about the next play mentality when it comes to being a corner. Like you said, if you lose, everybody in the crowd sees it. It's very different from being an O lineman or a D tackle. It's like it's hard to notice whenever they mess up, but that's kind of the razor's sword whenever you're playing the position as a corner. But I do expect us to come out firing today. It's all about technique and your stance and everything and what you plan on. It's all about the basics whenever it comes to playing corner and just being able to stay locked in on your technique every single play. It's easy, they're going to run the ball, but being able to stay locked in and being able to focus on your keys, focus on your one-on-ones, all those things are going to be vital for today's game. So, yeah.
And one thing I wanted to ask about, last year we saw the DB room struggled a little bit at the start of the year, right?
Yeah.
Oregon game and the Georgia Southern game weren't great, but they got better throughout the year. And by the end of the season, Marion McCoy was, an all Mountain West caliber player.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Irby was starting to play at a really high level at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
What goes into throughout the season, throughout the practices, with those cornerbacks in particular? Why was there so much improvement? And even early in this season, we're starting to see that improvement. Having been around those guys, having been in that locker room, what is it that causes the improvement? And, obviously, I think I know what your answer will be, but do you expect those guys to continue to improve and continue to stack good days and good games throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with Marion and Jeremiah Irby. Those are the leaders of the room. Those are the guys that has the most experience in that room right now. And they have playoff experience. They were on the team last year, and they know exactly what it takes to be a great corner in this in this league. And I expect them to be. I expect them to be communicating in the back end. I expect them to be on top of it. I expect them to be locked in, come down, make secure tackles, when you're one-on-one, stay on top. And, Marion, he is a tremendous corner. He has tons of potential. And I really love his energy on the field. If we can continue to keep that energy and build on from last game, I think it'll be great for us as a defense.
And we got a question here from Austin Jensen. Says, having played against Chris Marshall, right, practice against him last year, what makes him so hard to cover and especially tackle after the catch? And I'll even broaden that question up a little bit. Just what stands out to you about Chris Marshall? Because I think he needs to have a big day-to-day against definitely. Notre Dame. So what stands out to you about Chris Marshall, having played against him and practiced against him?
Well, one thing about Chris Marshall, man, he brings the energy. He is a confident guy, and he's confident in his abilities to do so. And he's a big body. He's plus 200, and he is a physical receiver. His releases off the line. He is very focused on how his releases are and how he gets out his route tree and everything. But consistency will be big for me when I think about Chris Marshall, being able to get in the run game, run block. Those things are vital for our offense, especially that we like to run the ball, and being able to secure the perimeter with our receivers and blocking. But Chris Marshall, man, he's an unbelievable talent. He is a guy that has the locker room. We love him. Well, we loved him last year, and I know they love him now. So he is a tremendous talent, and I expect him to have a big day today.
And you brought something up that I think doesn't get discussed enough with this wide receiver room is the run blocking.
Yeah.
If you look, and now granted, I'll preface by saying this: PFF grades aren't gospel. It's just a data point. But you look at the run block grades on all three starting wide receivers. I mean, they're blocking at like a tight end level, right? Yeah. Chris Marshall, Ben Ford, and Latrell Caples, all are exceptional blockers. And I think a lot of the explosive runs you saw against Air Force were in large part kind of quietly because of the work that those guys do on the edge, that they do on the perimeter. But going back to Chris Marshall, more as a receiver than just a run blocker. Notre Dame, they're running a little bit more zone this year, but they're still a very man-heavy team, right? They love to run man. They love to get in cover one, especially on third downs and dial up pressure, a little bit like, Boise State in that sense. How important is it for Chris Marshall, Latrell Caples, Ben Ford to win those man matchups today, especially against a Notre Dame secondary that's been a little shaky to start the season, we'll put it that way. And I guess, what do you see out of that matchup that you maybe like for the Broncos today?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I really do think that Notre Dame has a strong back end, their corners and their safeties, but they've given up some explosives this year. And I think with them running man and on third downs especially, we got to convert those third downs today. We can't continue to be going out 3 and outs every drive. We got to convert on third downs, and us winning our one-on-ones on the perimeter is going to be tremendous. Ben Ford has taken a tremendous step on winning his one-on-ones. Latrell Caples had a tremendous game last week, and I expect to see a lot from him as well. And Chris Marshall, man, he's going to be a go-getter. He looks forward to those one-on-one opportunities, and I expect them to take full advantage of today's opportunity.
Yeah, and that's one guy that I highlighted in my preview article when looking at who are the players to watch, who are the guys who need to have good games. Chris Marshall was one. With how much man Notre Dame likes to run, look, Latrell Caples, Ben Ford, they're good football players, no doubt about it. They've had great seasons. Chris Marshall's the guy that just physically on this team looks like an NFL body. Watching him in practice, I compared him a little bit to Julio Jones. Relative, right? There are he's not Julio, but he's so big, he's so strong, he's so fast. And look, like we said at the top, Notre Dame, all these guys expect to be day 1, day 2 draft picks. If you can get the best version of Chris Marshall today, I think that's something that can really separate Boise State's offense today. Help create some of those explosives. And like we said, Notre Dame's defense had been a little shaky to start the season. Right. The secondary in particular has been the ire of their fan base. I think Boise State fans and Notre Dame fans have had similar complaints in that sense, which again I think comes back to the position. Right. I always joke that fans love to go after offensive coordinators and the secondary. Whenever things go bad on defense, the secondary's fault. Whenever things go bad on offense, it's always the play caller's fault. But Chris Marshall was a guy that I highlighted as needing to have a big game. But you brought up Ben Ford having a breakout season for the Broncos. He's a guy that Boise State fans really hadn't seen much of unless they were going to Eagle High football games while he was here. Having practiced against Ben Ford and been around him, I mean, obviously you've seen him overcome all the injuries over the last few years, but when he's been on the practice field, what have you seen out of him? What makes him such a talented receiver that's able now to produce for the Broncos? Ben Ford, he's a Bronco. He's all for the program. And, whenever you're all for the program, you start to see things kind of open up for you. When you're all about your teammates, you're all about the coaching, you're all about what's being preached in the locker room and for the program, those things. And when you're all in, which Ben is, you'll start to see a light start to shine. And I think Ben Ford, he's an ultimate competitor. He doesn't like losing. He's resilient. All the injuries that he's faced and battled, and he's come back off of it. Shoulders, knees, all those things for Ben Ford. He's been able to overcome and have a tremendous season. So I'm excited to see Ben Ford not only today but for the rest of the year. And what has amidst this breakout, what is it about Ben Ford's game that sort of stands out and that gets him into the starting lineup? Is it the route running, the release packages, the consistency with his hands, having practice against him? Well, I guess I'll phrase it this way: having covered him, what's the toughest part about covering Ben Ford?
So Ben Ford, he's physical. I know he may be a smaller receiver, but he's physical. He's good with his hands. He's good with his release, and he's good with coming out of his breaks. Ben Ford is like I said, he's a competitor. Doesn't like to lose. He is a guy that wants to win every single rep, will fight through his route. Even if you're tight coverage on him, he's going to finish that rep, and he's going to finish with the ball in his hands. And he is a secure catcher in my eyes. And I know that Bronco Nation has seen those flashes from him. And I expect whenever the talent, whenever you have a big game like this, with my experience with Ben Ford, he loves these opportunities. And Ben Ford is a guy that is loved in the locker room and loved by the coaches. And he is a guy that has stepped up into a leadership role for sure, especially in the receiver room too. And whenever his number was called and is called, he steps up all the time.
Now, for those of you who are watching dialed into the pregame show and don't maybe have a scoreboard up in front of you, Navy just scored a 70-yard touchdown on Air Force. We'll dive into some of the scoreboard as well, but for those of you who follow the gambling column, it puts it over. It's going to be a loser for us. Navy has a receiver with 200 yards right now. I don't know. I don't remember the last time Navy ever had a receiver with 200 yards. I don't know what's going on. It's turned into an old school Big 12 track meet there. But guys, continue to get your comments into the ICCU chat. Continue to be active in there. We'll be reading some comments. Coming up, we'll have interviews with Leon Rice and Javen Buchanan. For those of you asking where's BJ at, had some issues with the internet there in Notre Dame, and I know they've got some pretty strict rules on what you're even allowed to do in terms of filming and whatnot. So stick around. We'll continue to get to your comments. We'll dive a little bit more into the matchup here after the break, but we are going to hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
We got coming back from the break there. We've got some video here of the pregame festivities here in South Bend, Indiana. Apologies, some technical difficulties. We do not have video of the festivities there, but Bronco Nation, by all accounts, having a pretty good showing there in South Bend. I know it's a tough place to get to. You know, either got to fly to Chicago, drive a couple hours, or some people, I know BJ flew into Indianapolis and then drove up. You guys are just coming in. Welcome into the Boise State Bronco Nation News pregame show. Bronco Nation News, now a member of the 247 Sports family. If you haven't already, head over to the website, subscribe. Best place for Boise State coverage, whether it's analysis for just your day-to-day coverage, and obviously recruiting, where 247, where that partnership is really starting to show us excelling. Read some of Chris V's stuff that he's been dropped a really good nugget on a defensive end from Sweden who may be coming to Boise State. There we go. We got the video of the pregame festivities there in South Bend. A lot of Boise State fans taking in South Bend, taking in Notre Dame, man. It's a historic venue. One of probably the 5 or 10 blue bloods of college football. You think of Newt Rockne and Rudy and all the national championships, the Four Horsemen back in the 1940s, right? It's one of those iconic venues that I think when this game got scheduled, I know Spencer Danielson's talked about it. He was stoked about it because it is one of those opponents that you want to be able to see, you want to be able to experience. So Markel, one thing I wanted to ask you about, obviously Spencer Danielson, this is going to be the second time we've seen him go to one of these big-time stadiums, right? Went to Oregon last year. But you also got to experience some of these sort of big-time games under Brian Harsin and under Andy Avalos.
Yeah.
So I want to ask in particular, what is it about Spencer, and especially coming into these big games, that's different from some of the other coaches that you've been around? And it seems like Spencer has tremendous buy-in, not to say Avalos and Harsin didn't. But what is it about Spencer that has such buy-in and helps the players focus in some of these big-time games?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit about history, a little bit. If you kind of understand and know how Coach D ended up getting into his role and ended up taking over and making those big strides to helping us finish off the season, a rough season to start, and finish off the season and winning a championship. The things that Coach D spoke about, and he's just all about togetherness, loving your brothers, loving the facility, loving what the Boise State Broncos is, and I would love to say that Coach D, man, he's an all about the players type of guy, and he preaches that in the locker room. Faith is a big thing too as well. And those are the things that we all buy in, not just bought in, but buy in with him. And he ultimately is for the players. He's not just for himself. He's not just for something else. But Coach D is an awesome leader. He is a player's coach. If you're having a bad day, he's right there to switch and get you back out there and get you back motivated. And he's all about like 5 a.m. in the morning, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's what reflects on the locker room, that reflects on the team and the players. And that's ultimately what starts to get things going. And I feel like that was a big key of us turning around the season, turning around and responding from that game one loss. And it really reminds me of a lot of times that I was in the locker room and we were battling, whatever that may be. And Coach D was a big part of us turning those things around. So Coach Harsin, he was a great, awesome coach. From what I remember, Coach Harsin, he was challenging a little bit at times, what he was expected of you, expected from the team and expecting of your performance. I mean, as well as all coaches. But Coach Harsin had a history of just nothing but winning and turning programs around and buying into his players. And I kind of get a similarity from Coach D to Coach Harsin, because Coach D was also on that staff as well, as a defensive line coach, and going to a defensive coordinator and all those things, watching Coach D grow and use all his learning tactics and use some of his own to be successful. And that's exactly what you see from him now. And Andy Avalos was an awesome coach too. He's a defensive guru, and he would also bring the energy every day. And his expectations were extremely high, and all three head coaches were awesome, and the level of intensity every single day played a factor on how we performed. So I love all three of those coaches, man. It was a learning experience with all three of them. But there's something a little bit different about Coach D and how his approach is and how he talks to his players, coaches his players, and not even just his players, but the staff. You will see a lot of the coaches, look up to Coach D on his leadership and his leadership style and how he approaches every single day, and also having fun. Having fun in the locker room is a huge thing, actually. That boosts your players' morale. Like having fun playing the game. It's football. It's a kid's sport, man, but it goes all the way to the NFL, and if you're able to have fun throughout that process, it's vital.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
yeah.
If you're just joining us, Markel Reed, former Boise State cornerback, here with us, was on the Fiesta Bowl team last season. Continue to stick around. We're going to have some interviews. BJ interviewed, I believe, Leon Rice and Javen Buchanan, who are there in South Bend, got some of their insights. Hopefully we've got the boys in Boise State gear today, and there's no controversies or anything going on, which I'm sure they will be all in Boise State gear. Meanwhile, by the way, Air Force just threw a 52-yard touchdown. I feel like I'm watching a 2010 Texas Tech game with two service academies. I don't know what's going on. But continue to get your comments in. Continue to chat about just your thoughts on the game and what you think's how you think this is gonna play out. How you think the Broncos match up with Notre Dame. Cruising around some of the Notre Dame boards, talking to some Notre Dame fans. They're overlooking the Broncos. A lot of them seem like they just, they feel like they're going to completely win easily, blow out City. I continue to see a lot of, experts and analysts say, Notre Dame -21. They'll win by 4 touchdowns at least today. It feels like there's a little bit of lack of respect for the Broncos coming into this one, which, I'm sure that's being in the locker room. That's how you guys like it, right?
Yeah. I mean, whenever these guys they're not oblivious to this. They understand and they know what people are saying, and that brings a level of motivation to this game. And one thing I do know, you bet not overlook the Broncos. The Broncos come to play no matter what game it is. I mean, Notre Dame's a great team. Like you said, they have a lot of NFL players, but I have a lot of confidence in the Boise State Broncos, especially with the momentum that we're bringing into this game, coming off a couple wins, dominating performances, putting up points, playing well as a defense, being physical, and getting the ball in the end zone as well, not just on the offense and on the defense as well. So I think creating those turnovers today will be vital and will be great for the Broncos. And I'm extremely excited for those boys, and I know they're excited as well.
And you bring up the turnover battle. One thing I put in the article was one of the keys to victory is going to be winning that turnover battle. Notre Dame, over the last 3 years, they've lost twice at home to unranked G5 programs. When they lost to Marshall in 2022, Marshall forced 3 turnovers, didn't turn the ball over. They took care of the football. And last year against NIU forces 2 turnovers, takes care of the football, and Notre Dame goes down in both those games. What sort of defensive mentality? I mean, I'm sure the offense is going to say, hey, we got to take care of the football. We can't force turnovers, but we got to take care of the football. Defensively, coming into a game like this, knowing this is a spot where we probably have to get 2 or 3 turnovers. Mentality change at all? Is there a little extra emphasis on it coming into the week? Like, hey, if you've got a chance to sack CJ Carr, get your arm in there. If you've got a chance to make a play on the football and pick it, like go for it, right? Is there a little bit of extra mentality in that way this week?
Oh yeah, definitely. Ball in the air, go get it. Defensive line, go attack the ball, go get those forced fumbles. The 2 games that CJ Carr turned the ball over, they lost. So if that'll be vital for us today, if we can ball in the air, we go get an interception. Let's do what we can to take that thing back. But I think if we win the turnover battle today, Broncos have a great chance of winning.
Yeah, and I think that's a necessity. I think if this is a game where it comes out even, right, turnover margin 0-0 both ways, I don't think Boise State's going to win that way. I think they have to get some extra possessions, steal some extra possessions as Navy hits like another 40-yard pass. We're watching a Big 12 game between Air Force and Navy. It's insane. Anyways, we got an interview here from BJ Rains with Jeremiah Dickey that we're going to tap into real quick. So let's hear from BJ and Jeremiah Dickey about the matchup.
All right, guys, checking in from South Bend, Indiana. We're outside Notre Dame Stadium. We got Jeremiah Dickey, Boise State Athletic Director, joining us. And what a scene this is.
This is amazing, BJ. Since we arrived, I can't say enough about their fan base, their administration, the staff on campus, how they've embraced us and made us feel welcomed. And what about Bronco Nation? I've heard from a number of people, BJ, flying into Chicago, that the rental car agencies are like, we've never seen a visiting team come in like this. And that's a testament to Bronco Nation. I want to give them a shout out. I love them to death. They're amazing.
You knew you sold out your 5,000 tickets. You knew you were going to have some fans, but it looks like there's going to be even more than that here.
I would guess so, and I don't know what the ultimate number is going to be, but that's how important this game is for us. And I don't get caught up in wins and losses and whatever else, but when you have 2 brands like this and have never played Notre Dame, and the strength of Bronco Nation, this is an opportunity for us to show well nationally, and I'm really excited about that.
What's the I know little ways to go here, but just the experience here, the game day experience, that you see the tailgating. 77,000. You're a college football fan. What's this atmosphere like?
This is my first time at Notre Dame, and I've driven through. I've seen Touchdown Jesus, but to be here for the game and once again to see their fans and how they embrace the visiting team, and this is the pinnacle of college football, right? The history and tradition. And that's something, we're in the infant stages still based on us being the FBS. But when you can take our national brand and align it with theirs, that's when epic exists. And that excites me, and the experience has been amazing.
Now, I know you needed a game, they needed a game, and obviously it comes with a nice payday, but just what made sense about this game, whether it was 18 months ago, whatever, and you fast forward to now and the fact that it's finally here. But when you went to those early stages, those early phone calls, I heard you on Bronco Studios yesterday say you kind of just had a connection with the guy that does the scheduling here. But what made sense about this game?
Yeah, 1, we needed a game. 2, we have a scheduling formula. We've talked about that. At 3, I'm always looking for different ways to tell our story. And when you can align with a brand like this, and it's why we play the Oregons and Washingtons and others, there is an additional piece or layer to what we're trying to accomplish. There's always strategy. Quite honestly, BJ, and you heard me yesterday say it, this started with me wanting to play them in Ireland. I would love an international opportunity, and so that's something that we're going to look into. But then you fast forward and you have a connection, and this industry is small at the end of the day. Ron Powell and I worked at Akron together. He was a quarterbacks coach. I was in development, and that's how it happened. I called him, and it took less than 10 minutes to get this thing done, and that's I appreciate him. And like I said, it's a great opportunity for us.
I'm seeing Jim Sturk walk by with a cold beer, and that looks really good. I'm seeing Matt Boucher over there. You guys brought, there's Mark Sanchez.
Brock.
The whole crew is here. Brock Rice in the house. The whole crew is here. What's up, man? How are you, man? Awesome stuff, man. What you guys brought? We got Ashley Genty in the house. Get over here for a second. We'll throw you on there for a second. Bend down a little bit. There you go. All right, there he is. All right. Appreciate it, man. I know you guys, you brought 2 planes over, a lot of your bigger donors, boosters. What's this mean for the whole department as a whole, I guess, to have the whole family here?
Anytime we go on the road, we're always looking, and very few ideas are we're creating ourselves. We're taking what others are doing and making them our own. And when you look at what Notre Dame is and what they've built, for donors to be able to walk the campus yesterday, to see the basketball facilities, to have Leon Rice here, how awesome is that? Pat We went and watched cross country. That's probably the largest crowd they've ever had. It was an opportunity for us to support Broncos, but also for our donors to see what could be. And we need to continue to do things like Notre Dame's done with their football stadium. We need to do stuff on basketball and how they created that op center and add on to Argentina. There are ideas that are going to come from this, and to have donors with us and to be able to see that creates an easier opportunity for Cody, myself, Bills, our collective team to be able to tell that story and convince them, you've seen it, let's make this a reality.
Well, I bought for my kids a little football that has the football that has the 2 logos on it, some of the gear and stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool. I know you said you're going to maybe steal some ideas from them on some of that stuff, but you come to a place like this and you mix the history and the tradition, and like you said, some of the newer ideas too. I mean, they got it down pretty well here.
They do, and not surprising, BJ. I mean, this is a team back in the day. You remember, like, I always watched Notre Dame play because they were sometimes the only game on. And so to be here and experience it and see how they've built it up, and obviously it's been decades, if not century, in terms of their history and tradition. But it was like looking at their bookstore. Why don't we do shirts with the visiting team? Because we have 20,000 people come through outside of football games to see the blue, and how do we tie in? And so talking to Travis and Blue and Orange Store, and there's so many different things. Those footballs, like I was telling our fans, I don't want you to buy anything from this store. Probably supporting their NIL. I want you to buy from us. But then you see our logo, and it's like, all right, I get it. And I bought my kid one of those footballs. That's an important memory for him.
Well, the game itself, just being on this stage today, NBC 1:30 back in Boise, just nationally, what's this opportunity mean for the Broncos, and how you feeling about the game?
I'm feeling great. It's 1-0 mentality always. I believe, BJ, and that's my mentality in everything I do. I believe, and I believe our team's going to come out and compete with one of the best teams in the country, and that excites me. And I'm grateful, and shout out to the foundation and those watching at home. I heard that we're close to 2,000 people that are coming to the watch party on the Blue.
They're
That's
packed
awesome.
at Uncle Bob's too right now.
And Uncle Bob, shout out to my favorite
now.
restaurant in Boise. Yep, love those guys. But yeah, I mean it's a big deal, and everyone's going to be tuned in, and I'm really grateful and thankful for that.
Well, enjoy the game. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, BJ. Thanks for being here. Go Broncos.
There you have it from Jeremiah Dickey and BJ Rains. Jeremiah, also my favorite restaurant in Boise, at least today, because they've got pizza, they've got mozzarella sticks, they've got little cinnamon dessert balls. Man, the food here is incredible. The meatballs are good. And best part, man, you get to eat it while you're watching a Boise State game. That's always the best kind of meal. So, hopefully the Broncos can pull off a victory and make it taste a little bit extra sweeter. We've got some more interviews coming. We've got one with Javen Buchanan. We've got one with Leon Rice coming. Let's hear now from Javen Buchanan, and BJ Rains was able to get him from South Bend.
We're walking through the parking lot. We're seeing all these fans, and who do we see but Javen Buchanan, men's basketball player from Boise State. I mean, you made the trip out here. I know you're from here. Well, what made you want to be here for this one, man?
I was like once in a lifetime. We got there's a direct flight from Boise to here. It was kind of just like my aunt works here. Just like a match made in heaven. I had to do it.
So what is the connection in terms of where you're from, how far it is, maybe for fans that aren't familiar?
Yeah, I'm from Lafayette, so it's like 2 hours away from here. And then, like I said, my aunt works here, so we got free tickets. So it's a pretty easy drive up for my girlfriend as well. She goes to Indiana University. So it's just it all fits together.
So for Coach to give you a day or two off, I mean, obviously it's just he wanted to come, but for it to work out for you to be here, and I mean, what's this mean?
It's awesome, man. I'm just really thankful for the opportunity. It's awesome. It's going to be a great day.
I know you love the atmosphere on the Blue, and that's going to be first, but to be one of the most historic stadiums and get a chance to see a game here, I mean, what do you make of all this?
That's awesome. Like, the atmosphere is awesome. I came here when I was young, so I don't really remember it. So I'm excited to just get it going again, and hopefully we get the dub.
How are you feeling about the game, man?
Great. I mean, Bronco Nation showed out, man. Like, they really showed up. I didn't expect this many fans here. So I'm just happy, and hopefully we get the dub, man. I think we're gonna get it done.
And 2 weeks from last night, so 13 days, you guys are playing Idaho. How you guys coming together? How you feeling, man?
Man, great. We got a bunch of great guys. I'm super excited for the journey this team's about to go on.
Well, enjoy the game, man. Safe travels. Appreciate you for stopping by, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Javen Buchanan, guys.
Have it, Javen Buchanan, and I'll tell you what, Bronco Nation News is going to need to get a sponsorship from the state of Indiana when we're done with this basketball football season. I was in Indiana 2 weeks ago. We've got BJ there in Indiana now. He'll be back in Indianapolis for the Butler game on the basketball side of things. But getting to hear from Javen Buchanan, who's obviously a native of Indiana, as he talked about, grew up 2 hours from Notre Dame. I don't know, Markel. Did you ever get a chance to have kind of like a homecoming game like that? And what did that mean for you getting to have, your family come out to the game and get to support and everyone's there in the area?
Yeah, man, it's definitely a different feeling. I'm from Texas. Last time we played in Texas was when we played Boston College, and I was not on the team, but I was able to watch that game. And I think that game got canceled a long time ago because of the weather. But
you were on the team that got the bowl game against North Texas, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. So when we played North Texas out in Frisco,
That's right.
that was I had all my hometown friends come to that game. It was tremendous being able to have my friends from the hometown come and see me, come and see what the Broncos are about. They don't usually get the chance to watch Boise State. We're all the way up, and in Texas is way down south, but in our schedule, the guys that we play. But it was a tremendous feeling whenever I had family and friends be able to come to that game in Frisco. Yeah, it was awesome. It was definitely a different feeling for me personally.
Right.
Wanting to go out there, perform, wanting to put on a show for my family and friends, and it was just great, being able to battle with another Texas team out there, and North Texas was a great team to go against at that time, and North Texas doing great things right now, actually. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Javen Buchanan I know it's on the basketball, getting a little bit of a homecoming game with this Notre Dame game today. And then we've got one more interview, guys, here from Coach Leon Rice, who, if you don't know it, Leon Rice, probably the biggest Boise State football fan in the Valley. I'm pretty sure Leon, if he had a choice in life, would have coached football. That man loves football so deeply. And, obviously he's been the basketball coach here for many years. Well, let's hear from Leon Rice live from South Bend.
All right, you never know who you're going to find in the parking lot here, just hanging out, tailgating. Leon Rice, you're a football fan. There's no place you'd rather be probably than right here.
Huge football fan, you know that. And what an amazing environment. First of all, you get to see, this is an icon. This is a bucket list kind of place. And the way these people have treated all the Boise State fans has been special. And what a great turnout for the Boise State. I mean, all these fans have done all these miles to be here with us, and it's a pretty special day.
And I've seen a ton of boosters, a ton of supporters, sponsors. And when you go down the line, Matt Boucher's over there. My point exactly, you got Matt Boucher here. I mean, you got the whole crew here. What's this mean to us?
Yeah, watch this. Boise! Love it.
You don't get to do, you can go to the home games and stuff, but you don't get to do something like this very often.
No, that's what's been so cool, so great. They've been included in this and get to see all this. And I'll tell you, if you get a chance to travel with the Broncos, you got to do it. It's been awesome. It just bonds you even more with all these people. We're up against 85,000.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, but it's going to be a special day.
I was thinking about this because at one time I heard you guys were you called Notre Dame or you were talking about something against them. I know the Butler one's what worked out, but usually you don't get these non-conference games later in the season. But if you could have had the exhibition or something last night, all your fans could have gone to that and then had the game today. I know you got to find a non-conference game where you could pull something like that off.
Maybe. Or do an exhibition like
that's what I'm saying.
Us and Notre Dame could have done something.
Oregon maybe next year. I don't know. Find something.
We'll keep looking. I actually got to watch their basketball practice because Coach Shrewsbury and I are friends. We've been missing basketball together, and so it was so great for me to go out and see how other people do it because you get in your bubble. You don't get to see other basketball teams, and so that was really valuable. But what a great day, what a great environment. The weather's perfect. Couldn't ask for anything more other than your setup and your microphone.
Yeah, we're not doing the best. Hopefully you can hear us back there. We're doing the best we can today. But was Rudy offsides?
I thought he got out early. He anticipated the snap. You can't call a penalty there.
You've had a lot of Rudies in your tenure. Is there a guy or two that comes to mind just whether he did actually start as a walk-on or whether he came in or a guy that just earned his. I mean, Jeff Valoriaga comes to mind.
That's what I was thinking of when you said it. But he wasn't a Rudy, you know. Like Rudy was a guy that you put in the end of the game. Jeff was a legit player and changed our play. He started as a freshman, and once he started, we won like 14 straight games because he was a winner.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Rudy wasn't all that, but Jeff was a legit player at 10 threes against Corbin. You know,
oh yeah.
And, you know, won us a lot of games over a lot of years. So,
what's been the coolest part of this for you? Has there been I don't know, any part of this whole trip that stood out to you so far, or?
Well, I think just getting to see, I mean, there's so much history. You know, our program's relatively new compared to all this stuff. I mean, you're looking at Newt Rockney stuff, Aaron Parsons, and all the, you know, and all the basketball stuff. You know, that's where UCLA lost their 88 home game win, or 88 game winning streak in that building. And so there's so much history here that we don't maybe get being West Coast people, but it's pretty special to be here and to be here with all these Broncos.
One basketball question. I mean, you are 13 days away from that Idaho game. Get your tickets. Need that thing to sell out. But what's how are we looking on the court?
It's been terrific. These guys have been working hard. We've got a great chemistry already. I think we're going to be a team that's a little more athletic maybe than we've been, which helps us defensively, helps us on the glass. The other cool thing, though, is Jaden's with us.
Yep.
You know, because he's from Indianapolis. He played at Indiana Western. So he got to come out. His aunt works here at Notre Dame. So there's so many connections. So it was really neat. So we juggled our practice schedule, so we were able to make it here. And we'll fly back tonight and practice tomorrow in Boise.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I guess final thing, you're a football, aficionado, a fan. I know you studied the tape of Notre Dame here. Give us the Leon Rice analysis of this game here.
I think we have to ball control a little bit of this offense because Notre Dame's offense is terrific. They're two of the best running backs. I think they're a team that is, they're a team that if you told me we won the national championship at the end of the year, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. So we got to ball control it. We got to kind of grind it out. We're going to do that. It's going to be 20-20. We're going to get a big pick at the end of the game and win by 7.
27-20 will be the final. And maybe it's Devon Banks filling in for Jaden Mickey, who's out today with the pick. How about that?
You got it.
Leon, thanks, man. Enjoy the game. The rest of your crew's all got cold beverages and stuff. We got to find one for you maybe at some point. But enjoy the game. This is cool that you came out here for this, and we'll see you back in Boise.
All right. Thanks, BJ.
All right, there you have it. Leon Rice, Boise State basketball coach and Boise State football super fan, giving his predictions, his insights. We did just get the injury report for this game, and as expected, Jaden Mickey is not available. David Latu not yet back, the starting nose tackle. But a little bit of a surprise, Matt Lauder has been announced out for this game. Didn't see any injuries with him last week, so probably picked up something during the week or something that, I know you've probably experienced this day after the game. You're like, ooh, actually, I played through that, but that's hurt. So Jaden Mickey, David Latu, Matt Lauder going to be out today for the Boise State Broncos. Talk a little bit about, you played a long time with Matt Lauder. What does he mean to this offense? And, what are the Broncos going to do in his absence?
Yeah, man, it's a huge blow for our offense in the Boise State Broncos. Matt Lauder is a huge part of our run game, and is also a huge part of our pass game as well. We run the ball, and you tend to see Matt Lauder, he's wide open. And he's very physical. He's a playmaker, and like I said, he's a huge part of our offense. It's the name of the game. A guy goes down, it's next man up. So I expect a huge step in from Wags. Wags is also a physical tight end and has tremendous potential and capability to step in for Matt Lauder and be a game changer. So yeah, does it hurt? Yes. But that won't stop us. That won't stop the game. That won't slow down the game at all because Wags is going to come in and he's going to be a game changer for the Broncos.
Yeah, Matt Lauder, obviously a huge loss for those of you just tuning in. Matt Lauder ruled out for this game. But Matt Wagner's been exceptional for the Broncos this season. He's a different type of tight end. Lauder's so good after the catch, whether it's lowering the shoulder, making guys miss, whereas Wagner, a little bit more of kind of the traditional big body tight end, plays really physical. And I think it also means we're probably going to see a little bit of Luke Voorhees, a little bit more in this game, who not a guy who, he's played, he got over 100 reps last year, but I don't think Bronco Nation realizes Luke Voorhees is a really good tight end who's just happened to be sitting behind two other really good tight ends. So Matt Lauder, definitely a big loss. Not to say Luke Voorhees is just going to replace Matt Lauder, no big deal. But, Matt Wagner and Luke Voorhees going to have a little bit of a bigger role with those two out today. One thing also worth noting, on the injury update that we get, it was Jaden Mickey, David Latu, Matt Lauder, did not have Roger Carrion in there, who we saw carted off the field at the end of the game last week against App State. Looks like Roger Carrion might be able to give it a go. One of the toughest players in Boise State history, right? Broke his leg last year and came back, 9 weeks later? Talk a little bit about, Roger Carrion's toughness and what he means to the offense and to the locker room.
Yeah, Raj, man. You got to love Raj, man. He is a guy that's going to bring the energy in that O-line room. He's a leader, he's physical, and he has that passion. I remember seeing him come off that injury. He was in the training room every single day, grinding away because he cares so much about the team. He wants to play. He wants to be that impact player, and he is. So it's good to see that he's not on the injured list for today. He's going to be vital for that offensive line today. He brings that physicality. He brings that passion to the game and that leadership on the sideline as well. And that's something that we're definitely going to need today. Super excited to see Roger not on the injury list. And like I said, he's an impact player. He brings a lot of emotion to the game, a lot of emotion to the team. And he's a guy that looks forward to games like this. I'm super blessed to have had the opportunity to be a teammate of these guys and being able to watch how they came into the facility when they come in from being a freshman and taking those steps to being a big time player for the Boise State Broncos. So I'm excited to see Roger today and excited to see how he impacts the game.
Yeah, and we'll see if he goes. Sometimes guys, they aren't listed on the injury report because they might give it a go, and then kind of game time decision. It obviously would be fantastic. It's great news just in general that he's not on the injury report, right?
Yeah.
Getting carted off the field, they immediately took him to ISMI to go, MRIs or X-rays or whatever it was, and came out of that game. I believe he was on crutches at the end of the game. So for him to even be able to give it a go right before the game is tremendous news. If he's not able to do, and it looks like from the press box, we've got BJ here. Roger Carrion is working with the number one offense. I think that's supposed to be number one offense during warmups, number two offense during warmups. So it looks like they're rotating him in there. They're getting him at least a little bit ready to go. But in his place, I would imagine, and maybe BJ can give us the update here, I'd imagine it's Tyler Kyneth at right guard if Raj can't go, unless maybe they kick Mason to right guard and put Zach Holmes there at center. But so maybe a little bit of shuffling on the offensive line, but Roger Carrion looks like maybe tries to give it a go, but he's in with the number two offense right now. Hey, if you're in the chat, in the ICCU chat, we are just under 25 minutes from kickoff. The game is coming up, and we have ourselves a gift card to give out to the closest score in this game, courtesy of Signature Roofing. If you need a new roof, talk to our friends at Signature Roofing. They're the absolute best. Joe Elcano and the whole team, they are fantastic. And I'll tell you what, they helped service the B&N golf event last year. The tacos that they were cooking up on hole 5 were incredible. I always say if Joe Elcano never got into roofing, he probably would have been a chef because he's one of the best cooks I know. But they're phenomenal people. Get your score predictions into the chat. Closest guess is going to be getting a gift card to Shields via Signature Roofing. So get your guesses there into the chat. Kicking it back over to you, Markel. You've done some research. You've watched this Notre Dame team. Obviously, you've watched Boise State.
Yeah.
What do you see in this matchup? What do you think are some keys that Boise State needs to do to not just keep this close, but be able to pull off the upset?
Yeah, number one, in my opinion, is stopping the run. That's going to be a huge goal for us today, and we're going to have to be on the attack. Jeremiah Love, he's an NFL running back. they find ways to get him the ball, no matter what. You know, in the passing game, in the rushing game, he's going to get touches. You know, and Jadarian Price as well. I've seen him. I've kept an eye on him all season so far, and he's another guy that they try to get the ball to. This is a team that wants to establish the run and wants to win games by running the ball. Yes, they have some guys on the outside that has a lot of potential to be a playmaker, but ultimately stopping the run is going to be a huge, because in the games that they versus Miami was able to do a great job in stopping the run in forcing them to throw the ball. So that's kind of what I see from the Boise State Broncos today, and Coach Chen's game plan is to wanting to send pressure in stopping that run and forcing Notre Dame to put the ball in the air and win the game that way. And that's what I see from the key players of Notre Dame. If we can stop the run and force CJ Carr to throw the ball, I see the Broncos having a great chance of winning this game. These backs, they're physical, they run hard, and they run downhill. Notre Dame's, they're big up front, but we also got some guys on the defensive line that are physical and who are looking to disrupt. So I'm excited to see this matchup today. And the number one key, in my opinion, is to stopping that run today, stopping Jeremiah Love, stopping Jadarian Price. And if we can do that, I'm going to really love the outcome of this game. Yeah.
It's going to be tougher without David Latu in the middle there. Probably would expect some combination of Lopez Sanusi or Deion Washington to step in there. And both those guys have played well in moments this year. It's, we've talked a lot about it at this point. That defensive tackle group was one that thought could be a major weakness. And, I mean, credit to Spencer Danielson and this staff. They hit on those portal gets, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, you get the internal development from Michael Madri and Lopez Sanusi. But it's going to be a big test. Notre Dame, they've got NFL offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I will say this, though, when I was doing my research on this team, I did think that's a spot where Boise State could get at this Notre Dame offense. I don't think it's the most impressive offensive line, particularly at the tackles. That was one of my key players for this game. I think Jaden Virgin Morgan needs to have a big game, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you can get him into those third and long spots, I think Jaden Virgin Morgan has a chance to win some one-on-ones today. I think that like you said, I'll echo what you said. Stop the run. Give your guys a chance to dial up some of those pressure packages, and hopefully Jaden Virgin Morgan can step up and have a big game. As we've got highlighted here, $500 gift card to Shields. I didn't want to save $500. I got the check for the text from BJ, and I was like, I don't know if that's a typo. $500 from Shields from our friends at Signature Roofing. Get your score predictions into the chat, man. $500 to Shields. There's a lot you can do with $500 at Shields, man.
Yeah, there is.
go get some pizza. Could go ride the Ferris wheel. It's a great place to be. So please get your score predictions into the chat there. You're only hurting yourself if you don't, right? Can't win unless you play, and the cost is clicking a couple of buttons on your smartphone or your computer. So, Markel, one thing when breaking down this matchup that really stood out to me was I think Boise State needs to score points, right?
Yes.
Obviously, Notre Dame's offense is exceptional, and I think they're the quality of offense, you're not going to stop them. I don't think you're holding them to 10 points. But if you can get them to 21, 24 points, I think as a defense, you'll feel pretty good about that. The offense has to be able to score points. And one of the areas where Notre Dame's been really weak has been on early downs.
Yeah.
Currently 95th in the nation in EPA per play on first and second down. I think the running game has to be successful, put themselves in third and shorts and positions for Maddox to play well. On the flip side, watching Notre Dame's defense, what have you seen, and where do you feel like Boise State needs to be able to attack Notre Dame's defense, which has been a little shaky through the first 4 games this season? Yeah,
I mean, Notre Dame has a good defense, and that goes without saying. I think their front seven, they're really, really good. They're physical, they disrupt up front. But I think if we're going to win this game, it's going to be winning on the perimeter. Of course, establishing our run game. That's what we're all about at Boise State. Sire Gaines, Malik Sherrod, Dylan Riley, those 3 guys, the 3-headed monster. We get those guys going for sure. But if we're going to put up points on the board, it's going to be winning on the perimeter. If we get Latrell, Chris Marshall, and Ben Ford, we get those guys going. It's going to be a tremendous outcome for the Broncos. Like I said, we got to be able to take risk. Giving our guys a shot at making 50 opportunity catches. That'll be important for us as a Bronco Nation. And Maddox, Mad Dog, him being a dog today, him going out and showing what he's capable of, and if it's he likes to take off and run when there's nothing downfield, and him being a playmaker today is going to be vital as well for our offense having success. If we can continue to make plays on third downs and continue to keep the drive going down the field. If we can try to get points off every drive, whether that's 3 or 6, that is going to be awesome for us as a Bronco team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I highlighted in the gambling column, which if you're not subscribed to Bronco Nation News at 247, go ahead and do that so that you can get access to the gambling column. Look, not to toot my own horn, but if you've been following along all year, the subscription would have paid for itself. You wouldn't have had to pay any money. But I've got Maddox Madsen over 210 passing yards, and more so the thought behind that being, look, if Notre Dame puts up points, the Broncos are going to need to throw the football.
Yeah.
Even if they don't, even if Boise State plays with a lead, I think a lot of the offensive success is going to come from needing to throw the football, get shot plays. And where Notre Dame has struggled actually a lot this season is in the intermediate in the passing game. Their linebackers have not been very good in coverage, and both Miami and Texas A&M made points when they played Notre Dame of, let's attack these linebackers. Let's try to get them out in space. Now, not having a guy like Matt Lauder really hurts because he's so good at attacking that second level of the defense through the air. But a guy like Matt Wagner, a guy like Latrell Caples, a guy like Ben Ford, who all those guys are exceptional attacking that 5 to 15 yard portion of the defense. I think that's going to be a key matchup that the Broncos have to take advantage of, along with winning on the outside, like you talked about. And like we mentioned earlier, you got to win in man coverage. They're going to run man coverage, and you got to be able to get open, beat your guy, and give Maddox a guy to throw to. But I agree with you. I like Boise State's chances to be able to move the ball through the air today. I think Maddox Madsen does have a big game today.
Yeah.
Quietly starting to play really, really well, right? That first game of the year, I said it, that may have been the worst game of his career against USF.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't look like Maddox. And whenever you start on a sour note like that, you kind of have to earn the trust of the fan base back. But was pretty much perfect against Eastern Washington. A couple of missed throws against App State, and then you look up and he's got 320 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's another phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Played fairly well against Air Force. I mean, only needed to throw the ball 2 times in the second half. So didn't have the biggest impact, but I think Maddox Madsen, he's getting more comfortable with these receivers. He's getting comfortable in the offense. And one thing I would look for this week, I do think we see a little bit of trickery out of Nate Potter, whether it's on special teams or on offense. One thing I know about Spencer Danielson, he's not going to go to Notre Dame and just try to make it close.
Yeah.
He wants to win the football game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's some coaches who they know if they've got a G5 program, they want to just muck it up, get it close, and maybe you get a little bit lucky. Spencer, I think he's going to go out and attack this game. I don't know, maybe you see it a different way, but I think they're going to try some trickery on offense or on special teams, try to do a little bit of something to steal a possession, steal a touchdown, do something to win on the margins there. Oh,
yeah, definitely. This game's going to come down to all 3 phases of the field, offense, defense, special teams. And yeah, I could see a little bit of trickery in there. It's always vital to stealing a possession in a game. Especially not just only stealing possession, but stealing, hidden yardage. I know that was a big thing of Coach Collins preaching in special teams meetings is winning the hidden yardage. How many yards can we get on kick returns and punt returns, and how many yards can we, get advantage of whenever we do punt the ball? Can we pin them back? Those are the little things that a lot of people don't understand about the game. Those things are key in big games like this, and winning the hidden yardage, stealing a possession. Those things are important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ties into when I had my 3 keys to victory today. And obviously when you've got a football game, it's always the same 20 things. And I just try to highlight which 3 maybe stand out a little more today. We talked about the turnover battle. We talked about winning on early downs, but making the play on special teams. Notre Dame is one of the best special teams units in the country. They block kicks. They have big time returners who love to run fakes. You have to make the play today. And whether it's you running the fake and converting it, or it's Notre Dame running the fake and you getting the stop, I think you have to be able to make the play on special teams, win in that third phase of the game today. Obviously, you've spent a lot of time, you've been in these special teams rooms. You've been a special teamer, being a contributor in that sense as well. What is the mindset, and how do you think how is J.C. Collins going to approach a game like this from a special team side against such a well-coached and creative special teams unit in Notre Dame?
Well, it starts off by understanding that special teams, making a play on special teams in a game like this can change the game, the game's outcome. And attention to detail, if your key is whoever it may be on the offense and they're punting the ball, let's make sure that our eyes are locked in on our keys. Let's execute our 111th. Even in our kickoff return, like if you're double teaming, let's make sure that we stick on those double teams and create a lane for our returner to go get some yardage and a good return. I think Coach Collins does a great job of attention to detail in our special teams unit. I know we had that one that happened in game one, but I ultimately seen a turnaround in the attention to detail from the players and watching these games week to week on a week-to-week basis. So I will definitely be paying attention to our special teams and how well they are paying attention to the attention to detail and how well they're executing their 101 or their 111th. So
and I don't know, man, just call it a gut feel. I think Boise State's going to pull out some trickery today. I know fans have been yearning for it for a couple of years now. It wasn't something that we really saw when when Dirk Cutter's the OC, he wants to run the ball. He wants to do things kind of traditionally. Whether it's special teams or offense, I think we get some trickery today. I think we get a little bit of Boise State razzle-dazzle. If you haven't already, get your predictions in the chat. We'll be going live for just a couple more minutes here. $500 gift card to Shields on the line for the closest prediction. So get those predictions into the chat. Maybe Kanan on the end here can pop some of those up on the screen so you can see what everyone else is predicting. Don't miss out. You get one chance. You may as well play. Markel, I'll give you your chance here with about 10 minutes until kickoff. Final score prediction. How do you see this game playing out for the Broncos?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe let's go a 21-24 win for the Broncos.
Okay, a little bit lower scoring. You like the defense to step up and get some stops today?
Definitely.
I put it in the preview column. You guys have seen it already. I predicted Notre Dame wins this one 41-25. I know I'm the bad alumni. I'm the hater. But there was one stat I just kept coming back to. Boise State's really struggled this year in terms of bending but not breaking, right?
Yeah.
When teams get over the 50-yard line, more often than not, they're scoring touchdowns. I believe they're 113th in terms of points per quality possession. Notre Dame, number one in the country offensively in terms of points per quality possession. In a game like this, I think you have to be able to force turnovers when teams get across the 50, and you have to be able to force field goals, right? Field goals are failure for an offense, and I just haven't seen Boise State's defense do that today. That, to me, that's the one hidden key in this game. Notre Dame's going to move the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to have good possessions, force field goals, find turnovers. If you can do that, that's where I think the defense can be able to win this game. And look, just trying my best to be an unbiased analyst. I'll go 41-25 Notre Dame. I do think Boise State's offense moves the ball today, though. I like the matchup. I think they'll be able to run it efficiently enough. And I really do think Maddox Madsen has a really good game. And, I think when we do this post-game show and the game's over, even if Boise State does lose, I feel like we'll have conversations about, there's been a lot of skepticism about Maddox Madsen. He's, any quarterback's a talking point, but especially when you're the Boise State quarterback. I mean, shoot, even Brett Rippon, probably the second best quarterback in program history. People were calling for Montel Cozart to start because when the standard is Kellen Moore, no one ever reaches the standard. I think we come out of this game saying, man, Maddox Madsen's a guy. He's really, really good. He's the best quarterback in the conference. So get your predictions into the chat. Like I said, I've got 41-25. Markel's got 24-21. Thinks the defense steps up and gets some stops. So get your predictions in, but we're 10 minutes from kickoff. Be sure to join us on the postgame show. I think we'll also be going live for a little 10-15-minute halftime show to be able to break down what's happened in halftime, talk through what Boise State needs to do to finish off and get the win at halftime. So check it out if you aren't already. Subscribe here on YouTube. Subscribe to Bronco Nation News on X or Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you are on social media. Thank you here from Uncle Bob's Pizza. Come join us, man. They do a great job down here. Thanks for putting us on. And enjoy the game, guys. This is Nathan Carroll and Markel Reed coming to you live, Bronco Nation News. Check us out at bronconationnews.com.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!